Greetings, I'm Dev the developer. This lesson covers the meta tag. It lives in the head section and, like everything else in the head tag, it is never visible on the page. However, it does a surprising amount of work. We will cover character encoding, SEO related tags, search engine optimization, and the Viewport tag for responsive design, and a couple of other things worth knowing about. The meta tag. It provides metadata about your HTML document. Metadata is information about the page, not content on the page. Users do not see it directly, but browsers, search engines, and other tools read it and use it. Every meta tag sits inside the head element. It has no closing tag. You give it attributes that define what kind of metadata it carries, and it does its job silently in the background. There are a few different attribute patterns the meta tag uses, and we will go through each one. The first meta tag you should always include is the one that sets the character encoding. Character encoding is the system that maps text characters to binary data. If the encoding is wrong or missing, the browser may render special characters incorrectly. This is a common mistake on web pages. You have probably seen this, a page where apostrophes show up as a strange symbol or accented letters turn into garbage. That is usually a character encoding problem. UTF-8 is the right choice for almost every web page you will ever build. It covers the full Unicode character set, which means it handles virtually every written language, emoji, and special symbol you might need. Put this tag near the top of your head before anything else. The browser needs to know the encoding before it starts interpreting the rest of the document. The most common meta pattern uses two attributes together, name and content. The name tells the browser what kind of metadata it is, and the content is the value. The first one worth knowing is description. The description is the text that search engines often display under your page title in search results. If you have ever seen a search result where the snippet actually tells you what the page is about, that usually comes from this tag. Keep it concise, around 150 to 160 characters, but make it accurate. It does not directly change your search ranking, but it does affect whether people click on your link. A description that gives users a clear reason to click is one that is doing its job. Perfectly normal. Moving on, write one description per page. Do not use the same description across your whole site. Every page covers something specific, and the description should reflect that. Two more values you will see in the wild: keywords and author. The author tag is straightforward. It records who wrote the page. It is used by some tools and can be useful in documentation contexts. Not critical, but it also costs you nothing. Keywords are a different story. The keywords tag was designed to tell search engines what terms the page was relevant for. In practice, it was abused so heavily that Google and most other search engines stopped using it years ago. Including it will not help your SEO, and it is not recommended for that purpose. You may still see it in older code bases. Now you know what it is and why it really doesn't matter anymore. The Viewport meta tag is a different category entirely. This one is not about SEO. It is about how your page renders on mobile devices. Without this tag, a browser on a phone will assume your page is designed for a desktop and zoom out to fit the whole thing. You have probably experienced this when you land on a website on your phone and everything is tiny and you have to pinch just to zoom in. That is what happens without the viewport control. The tag does two things. Width equals device width tells the browser to set the viewport width to match the actual width of the device's screen. And the initial scale, setting it to 1, sets the starting zoom level to 1, meaning no zoom applied. For any page you intend to be readable on a phone, which is probably going to be every page, this tag is not optional. You are going to use it on essentially every page you will ever build. One more meta tag that does not appear in every tutorial but is worth knowing, and that's the robots. The tag tells search engine crawlers what they are and are not allowed to do with your page. No index means do not include this page in search results. No follow means do not follow the links on this page. You would use this on pages you do not want indexed. For example, login pages, admin panels, and thank you pages after a form submission, and staging environments. Anything that should not show up when someone searches for your site is where you will use this. The opposite is, of course, index and follow. That is the default behavior. If you want the page indexed, you do not need this tag at all, but knowing how to opt out is extremely useful. There is another meta attribute called the http-equiv. Instead of name, it simulates an HTTP response header directly in the HTML. This example tells the browser to wait 5 seconds, then redirect to another page. You will see it used for things like automatic redirects on maintenance pages, but it is less common than the name pattern, and the refresh behavior in particular can be a usability problem if overlooked. You will encounter it, so it is worth recognizing. Just know that there are usually better ways to handle redirects at the server level. And finally, the last thing to know about meta tags is that social platforms have their own flavors. When you share a link on Facebook or LinkedIn, the platform reads specific meta tags to generate the preview card that includes the image, title, and description that all appear on the post. These are called open graph tags, and they look kind of like this. Twitter has its own version called Twitter cards. It uses a name equals Twitter:card and similar attributes. But we're not going to dive deeply into that right now. They are their own subject and belong to a later conversation about SEO and social presence. But you will see them in real code bases. And now you know what they are when you do. And here is what a well-formed section looks like with everything from this lesson in place. Character set first, viewport second, description, author, and any other named content tags after that. That is the order you want to get used to. Meta tags are one of those things that feel minor until you are missing one. Character set keeps your text readable. Viewport makes your page work on phones. Description is what you see in search results. And robots gives you control over what is indexed. None of them are hard. They all just have to be there. Go ahead and take a blank HTML file, build out the full head section with everything from this lesson, and make sure you understand what each tag is doing. And don't just watch it. do it.